Hello, so today I'd like to go over the French Revolution. There are many causes of the French Revolution. Most important was the financial difficulty of the king. Louis XVI was in a lot of debt from aiding the American Revolution, Louis XIV's Palace of Versailles, and the extravagant lifestyle of the monarchs. This financial difficulty led to calling the Estates General in 1789. In addition, some other causes were the success of the American Revolution, influence of the Enlightenment, privileges of the aristocracy, restrictive mercantilist laws, and hardship, not misery, of the French peasantry. The first stage of the French Revolution began in May of 1789 when a financial crisis made Louis XVI call the Estates General so that they could tax the nobles and clergy. The Estates General agreed if they could get power of the purse. Louis rejected their bargain and he disbanded the meeting. At the second stage of the revolution, it was from 1789 to 1791. The representatives met in the tennis court and vowed not to disband until they wrote a constitution for France. This was known as the Tennis Court Oath. They formed the National Assembly, where there's a one state, one vote policy to better represent the third estate. The National Assembly replaced the States General, and Louis agreed to work with them. Later, Louis fired Neckers, who was a financial advisor who was very popular with all the estates. As a result, the rebels stormed the Bastille, which signaled the end of the old regime. So, the Great Fear. In August of 1789, the Great Fear began. Louis and his family were imprisoned in Paris. The National Assembly had many reforms, such as the abolition of noble privileges, declaration of the right of man, and freedom of religion. During this stage, the revolution turned violent. In the Women's March, Parisian women stormed to Versailles to imprison Louis, which succeeded. People also started rioting. As a result, the Assembly voted to renounce their titles and privileges. Okay, the third stage. The Constitution of 1791 created a limited monarchy with a unicameral legislative body. The unofficial parties of the assembly were the radicals, the moderates, and the conservatives. This started the political parties that we see today. Louis reluctantly agreed to rule by the Constitution. Then Austria invaded France to restore Louis's power and end the revolution. Nobles immigrated as the violence grew. Émigrés, who were nobles that fled, and Louis and his family attempted to flee France. The fourth stage. When Louis returned, the radicals, led by Robespierre, seized power of the legislative body and established a national convention to govern France. Louis was executed. They created the Committee of Public Safety to end foreign threats and to create stability at home. In the Reign of Terror, royalists were arrested and executed. Marie Antoinette was executed as a traitor. Anyone who opposed the revolution was executed. A military draft was adopted to defeat foreign invasions. Robespierre was eventually executed. In the fifth stage, moderates regained power in France and replaced the Committee of Public Safety with a five-member government called the Directory. They were weak, corrupt, and broke. The Directory depended upon an army to maintain control. The sixth stage. Napoleon overthrew the Directory in a coup d'etat and established a military dictatorship. He reorganized the finances of France, developed an education system, and wrote the Napoleonic Code, which provided equality for all men. He created an empire in Central Europe, and he ended feudalism in the nations he conquered. Napoleon's foreign policy is called the Continental System, which was an embargo on Britain, and it failed. He also failed in invading Russia, which led to his demise. The Russians used the scorched earth tactic to win. Before that was a peninsular war. In the Spanish ulcer, Napoleon sent troops to quell the Spanish rebellion. The Duke of Wellington led British troops aiding the Spanish against Napoleon. Later, Admiral Nelson defeated France, setting a precedent that France would not expand into Britain. Lord Trafalgar fought on the side of the French as a Spaniard. After Napoleon's failed invasion of Russia, he was overthrown and exiled to Elba. The Bourbons ruled in his absence. Then he escaped and ruled for 100 days. He was taken down at Waterloo and exiled to St. Helena's Island. Results. The French Revolution ended absolutism as a political system in Western Europe. It was replaced with constitutional monarchies. Feudalism ended in the territories that Napoleon had conquered. The Napoleonic Code was established, and it established a rule of the law, and it became the basis for France's legal system. Revolutionary ideas spread and inspired the future struggles for life, liberty, and fraternity. Europe turned to a more conservative political philosophy for the following decades. The Congress of Vienna. The Congress of Vienna was a meeting of conservatives led by Clemens von Metternich. He had 3 founding principles for this meeting, which were legitimacy, reparations, balance of power, and balance of power. The Concert of Europe was the idea that the most powerful states should informally work together to maintain balance of power. So I hope that somewhat helped. Thanks for watching.